So move on to making the system bootable. So etc FS tab. Now there's a good chance that this may need to be tweaked slightly. In fact, there's a very good chance because we'll be booting from a different root system. So let's copy that and use it as a template and then modify it. So you can see at the moment that SDA5, which is going to be the new root file system for the MLFS, is currently mounted at Mount LFS, and we've got the LFS 12.3 mounted at root, which is on SDA3. So what we need to do is to change just checking my notes here. Okay, I've put something in. I'm not sure if I've written something down there, but anyway, on this new system, let's just check I am on the root. Yes. So this now needs to be made SDA5, and this is the old root. So what I'll do is I'll just comment that out for the moment. It could be deleted, and the boot's going to be the same. That'll be shared amongst any operating systems I've got, and the swap can be the same as well. That's not a problem, and everything else remains the same because it's effectively the same operating system. All we've done is added 32-bit libraries. So I'll save that and exit. So that should be sufficient. So we move on to Linux. Now again, we've already built Linux 6.13.4 to create the kernel for all the changes that are required, as well as the changes that are going to be required in GLFS when I come to do that. So in theory, I don't need to do this because I've already done this bit. So what I'm going to do is to mount boot, and if we go to boot, you'll see this is the kernel that I booted from, this one here. So all we need to do is actually modify the menu, the grub menu. CD VI. So you can see at the moment it's using the same root as the LFS 12.3. All we need to do is to change that to use the new MLFS 12.3 as the root. So again, I'll just change that to 5. And that should be all that's required. Let's go to sources, see what directories I've got here. Oh yes, that's right. So I renamed the Linux source as .backup just so that any headers and so on that we created wouldn't affect that. So what I'm going to do is just move that back and call it Linux. So that should reflect, that config file should be what is running basically. Let's have a look at it. CD Linux. So if we look for the is it X32-bit option, that's the, no, it's not that one. Let's look for 32. Alright, maybe I need to go to the top again. Let's search for 32. I can't remember what the option is called now. Oh yes, there it is, emulation and compatibility. So that shows that this is the kernel we've currently got running. This is the correct config for it. So there is literally nothing else I need to do apart from what I've already done, which is to edit the grub config. So just check this again. It's going to boot the MLFS kernel, which is the one we've got running at the moment, but it's going to use SDA5, which is the current root environment. It's going to use that as the root environment. And the original kernel is still booting the original LFS 12.3. The only problem I realise I have done is that the kernel source on the original 12.3 LFS has now got the newer kernel for the MLFS, so it'd probably be a good idea for me to rebuild that, just so that if I was to change something there, I'm not building or using the wrong kernel. So that's something I would need to redo again. I should have created a copy of that and then use that copy rather than modify or wipe out and recreate the MLFS kernel. But that shouldn't be a problem because obviously I've got the config for that, so it'll just be a case of cleaning the source directory, copying the config, doing make old config and make to rebuild it. So that's something I'll do offline. So yeah, that should be that done. All these settings I've checked in the kernel. That's why I wanted to use it. I didn't want to waste time going through this. If you need to know a bit more about this, then you can look at the original LFS 12.3 videos I've done to see me do that. As you've seen, we've just checked that these are enabled. I didn't check that one actually. Don't remember seeing that there. Let's have a quick look at that to make sure that's set. vi.config, and we're looking for that option that is not there. Okay, IA32. Right, what I'm going to do is look for it in menu config itself. Oh, it does say the IA32A out support is optional, so if it's not there, it doesn't really matter. So IA32_A out. Looks like that option may have changed then. IA32. So there is only 3 options there that got IA32 in them. As you can see, the emulation is set as we've already seen. Let's see if there's any information about that. It might actually say that by default. No, it doesn't mention anything about A out there. So these are 3 options with IA in them. Yes, IA32, yes they are. Okay, so there isn't that option in this version of the kernel, so that's a bit out of date, that information there. But at least it says it's optional, and clearly I've built without it and I didn't seem to get any problems associated with that. So that's okay. I think I installed this. I'll check this. No, I didn't. Right, so I'll just run this to put the kernel documentation in the tree. Okay, so that was the only thing that needed to be done. This is probably already all owned by root anyway, yeah, but I'll run it anyway just to be sure. So that should be it as far as the kernel's concerned. So now we're going to set up grub. Again, I don't normally do the rescue disk. It's something you may want to do just to go through the process anyway. It's even more, well, not even more of a reason, but perhaps again less of a reason that it's required. We've got another LFS we can boot from. Admittedly, we haven't got a graphical environment. I'm not sure what this has got. If it's just a grub rescue, that's probably even more restricted than what we've got here. So yeah, as I say, it's not required. We don't need to run this because we've already got a bootloader installed. We don't need this because we've already got a menu system. We don't want to overwrite what we've already got because otherwise we won't be able to boot into the original LFS and even use it as a rescue system. So there's nothing to be done there.